Hey guys, welcome back to Flirting with Meaning. Today I wanted to talk about never being anyone's first choice. Not to expose my age, but I've been on this planet for a very long time, and by now I thought it wouldn't be such a foreign feeling to know what it feels like to be chosen. I don't know if I've even ever felt that once. I almost didn't want to talk about this today because it comes across as very pick me, and I'm not like a pick me girl, but I can't not talk about that sort of pain of not being chosen in order to avoid being labeled as a pick me. Maybe people are just gonna call me that anyway. I really don't care. How can I be a pick me if no one's picking me, guys? Like, the math ain't math, and if that's what you really think I am, the math isn't mathing. But anyways, back to my point. Looking back, no matter who I was involved with, there was always somebody else that they had in their life that they would choose over me. And I feel like I'm not alone in this. So there's a man staring at me again, and I'm just gonna pretend like I don't see them because nothing's real, honestly. Literally nothing is real. So yeah, I don't mean to sound like I'm complaining, but it's upsetting when no matter how much effort you put in, you end up as the backup friend or the almost relationship, and you're there, you're available, you're capable, but you're never chosen first. And it always makes me wonder, like, when I think of who they always choose before me, it's like, what do they have that I don't? Even if I have a decent amount of self-confidence, it'll still hit me like, what do they have that I don't? And again, it sounds so pick me, but I honestly don't care because those who actually know the feeling know how bad it hurts to never be anybody's first choice and watch everyone around you seemingly be somebody's first choice. And if this happened once or twice in my life, I probably wouldn't be making a video about it. But the fact that it happens every single time that I am in that sort of situation, the fact that it's been every time in my life really has me grasping for straws, trying to get some sort of stability or knowing that somebody values what I have to offer or who I am as a person. Even if I was like talking to a guy, he'd stop talking to me for somebody else. Or if I was with somebody, he would turn cold on me and warm to somebody else. And I saw this post that was like, if the shower turns cold, it's because it's warm for somebody else. Or if the shower water turns cold, it's because somebody else is using it. This isn't about showers. It's the other person putting their warmth to somebody else and leaving you out in the cold with no explanation. Most of the time, if not 99% of the time, there's usually no explanation. Being somebody's second choice feels like rejection, even when nobody says that word out loud. It's when your friend calls you, but only because their favorite friend is unavailable. When their first choice is unavailable, that's when they call you. It's when you're the one who likes somebody first, but they go for somebody else, and they only look your way when that doesn't work out, if they even look your way at all. It feels like you're always waiting to be picked, always hoping somebody will look at you and say, "You're the one I want." And when it doesn't happen over and over again, you start to wonder, am I just not enough? Because how does it keep happening over and over and over again that everybody picks somebody else? It doesn't make sense, and it's hard to deal with that maybe I'm not as deserving as this as I thought I was. But you are. But it's on them. So where does this show up? This feeling shows up everywhere. It's in friendships, and it's being the person people might confide in, but not the one they celebrate with first. It's realizing you're the safe option, but maybe not the exciting one, or the opposite, where you're the exciting one, but not the safe one that they settle down with. I don't know if you guys know how it feels to be the placeholder friend or the placeholder in relationships, but you're pretty much the person who they choose to fill a position that they hold you in until they find somebody who suits that role better, and then they just leave you out in the cold. It's like you're good enough for attention and affection, but you're not good enough to be chosen. It's that sinking feeling when you realize that somebody only came to you after their first pick rejected them. All of these moments, they add up, and it chips away at your self-worth, and after a while, it starts to feel like a pattern that you can't escape. I feel like it's a pattern that I can't escape. Because why am I, at my big age, still not knowing what it feels like to be chosen? We live in a culture that always wants the best partner, the best friend, the best job. And when people are chasing the best, they overlook what's actually good for them, and they might even overlook you. I see this all the time in relationships where somebody will ignore the person who's good for them and always go back to the toxic person who's not benefiting them and is not good for them at all. That, for some reason, is what a lot of people constantly choose to be their number one. And then a lot of people with really good hearts who could treat somebody really well always get left out in the dust. And it's so debilitating and discouraging for them to find love because it's always being shoved in their face that they're not chosen first. They're always the placeholder. And it It's so twisted. So when you're not somebody's first choice, it doesn't mean you're not valuable. It just might mean they're blinded by their own idea of what best looks like. But as painful as it is, not being the first choice doesn't automatically mean that you're losing, even though it feels like it. Sometimes being overlooked can build some sort of strength within you and build some sort of resilience, and you learn how to sit with rejection and just keep going. I'll be honest, I'm at my wits' end, but at the end of the day, do I really have a choice other than to keep going? Do you guys remember in my last episode when I said my car has a fruit fly infestation? Well, there's currently a fruit fly flying around me, and too, actually, and I don't know if you can see them. Probably not because they're very tiny, but I just want you to know that they're hovering. They actually just dissipated as soon as I started talking about them. Maybe they got self-conscious. But there's so many examples of people who were second choices and ended up shining even brighter. I always think of the Taylor Swift song Dear John, where, I could be wrong, but I think it goes, I took your matches before your fire could burn me, so don't look now. I'm shining like fireworks over your sad, empty town. Look at her now. Like, is that not the best revenge? I think when somebody rejects you, the best revenge is rising above them, becoming better than them, succeeding, and just rubbing it in their face. That is so satisfying to me. Make them feel like they're inadequate. Anybody who made you feel inadequate, make them sorry they ever made you feel that way and make them feel inadequate. Because, there's also other stories when actors who are backups for a role and then get the chance and make it iconic. I always see stories of people who, in their breakout role, how many times they failed and how many times they weren't the first choice. But in life, that can be you. Just because you weren't somebody's first choice doesn't mean you won't be somebody's best choice down the line. And maybe we don't have to try to be somebody's first choice, or maybe we don't have to be upset that we're not somebody's first choice, but we can have that confidence of knowing that we were the best choice, whether they choose it or not. Know that you are the best choice. That can help you move on to somebody who actually values you and would literally vomit at the thought of being with anybody else other than you. A lot of people don't want to hear this because it's such a repetitive piece of advice that is thrown all around like it's nothing, but you do have to choose yourself sometimes. And if somebody keeps treating you like an option, you have to ask yourself, do I really want to stick around for this? If a space doesn't see your value, why give it energy? At the end of the day, you're voluntarily staying in a situation in which you are feeling inadequate. And why would you want to feel that way? It hurts, don't get me wrong, but it's just one of those hard lessons that I'm still learning. And choosing yourself, it can look like investing in people who actually show up for you, even if it means spending a lot of time alone and not forcing friendships, not forcing yourself into people's lives if they don't value you, or walking away from people who only come around when it's convenient. A lot of people who are in messy situations are still in those situations because they're available when the person comes back to them. You need to put your energy into opportunities and situations that align with your worth, not just what's available. Like, what really aligns with you and your values. Those are the situations and opportunities that you should be seeking out rather than the ones that make you feel the opposite, which is inadequate or like somebody's second choice. Any situation that doesn't lift you up is one that you should not voluntarily be seeking out. And I know it's so hard because it's the chemicals in our brain when we bond with somebody. We can't just walk away from them. I'm not saying that it's such an easy thing. I'm just saying, I'm kind of just talking about how difficult and hard this is. I believe some people who string people along, they deserve either the electric chair or death penalty. Comment down below what y'all think they deserve. But at the same time, a lot of these people, they have childhood trauma that made them this way. But I never really fully get this argument because even good-hearted people who don't treat people that way, they also have childhood trauma. It's very complicated, I guess. Being somebody's second choice doesn't erase the fact that you're one of a kind, and sometimes the universe lets us be passed over so we can end up where we're meant to be. Not as an option, but as the only choice that really mattered. And looking back, I definitely see situations in my life where that is the case. So think about your life. Has there ever been a situation in which you got rejected so harshly by somebody and then later on you realized your life is better off without them? Years from now, my life is probably going to be better without them because I'm not in a position where I'm being treated inadequately or treated like they would leave me for somebody else. They would leave me for the ex situationship. I was just talking to a guy who would always complain about their ex situationship, how she cheated on him, gave him herpes, and he was saying how he's so done with her. He felt so betrayed. He literally went back to her. Like, he literally ghosted me and went back with her. Like, that's how twisted it is. I'm not kidding. It's not just me trying to make somebody feel better about being rejected. Like, this is truly, like, people are sick and twisted in the head and they go back to people who are bad for them. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It doesn't mean that you're unworthy. It just literally means that person has issues and that person is attached to somebody toxic. A lot of people have a toxic perception of what love is supposed to look like because they were never really shown that. And it's unfortunate because there are people who can show them that, but they never choose those people. It's a toxic cycle, and I hope a lot of people can break out of that. But you need to want that help, and you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. To wrap it up, I am going to continue the online dating and give you guys updates. If you're online dating, give me updates too. It's a cruel world. But you know what? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.